hired a little horse and buggy with Kyrgyz, and two of us.
With what?
Yeah,
Horse and buggy and what?
horse and
Okay,
buggy.
natives who used to live
Kyrgyz,
there
Kyrgyz, it was
with the ice like this, they used to, in the very, very hot summers, they used to wear, because, they coats and everything, they can, they have masters and terrible looking. One of them wanted
But they
to
were
buy
very
her.
nice. At the same time, they were
He
very
was giving my mother, lots of animals,
not a lot.
whatever.
One cow,
Oh,
she wanted to marry me.
No, something else you were giving her, for her,
Well, anyway, she came with the baggie, the horse and baggie, because my mother was very weak, Because all of us, she was young, she was weak, both of them had to go, and it was a terrible May. It was nothing but water and mud. There was no good ground, to
And
run.
horses, it was difficult.
And
the
we
bike
were
was
going
just 2 horses, and
But-
we couldn't sit down, we had to walk.
That's right. But mother was sitting,
But it-
but you were sitting.
Maybe a little bit.
Yes. And we were walking, It was 200 kilometers, from our Sopos to the
But
railway
it's good
station.
that he was with us. Remember what happened to us?
Absolutely. And we weren't going on the highways, on the road, We were hiding because we knew the
Forests all around.
will be,
just forests.
and will be looking at us. And so we were in the forest, or beside the forest, and so on. And all of a sudden we came by the forest, close to the forest, and 3 men on horses came to the Kyrgyz. They were Kyrgyz themselves.
No, they didn't come yet. When he saw them coming, he said they were coming from the forest on the horses, And he says, go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. I remember,
No.
the way we
But
were
they
running
came,
then.
we were running. But they caught up with him, and they said, you just go into the woods, And he had to go with my mother and Chechenka, myself, went into the woods, and they were talking. We don't know what they were talking about because they were talking their own language, What the man who was taking us, what did he tell them? I don't know. But nevertheless, we heard some horse hooves, the sounds of the horses
And the drum,
bells,
and the bells
were coming, and they ran away. Those men,
They were
and the
police
horses
coming,
ran.
they were just going, not for us. They were just going somewhere,
somewhere else, but it was on the road, and we were in the forest, and we heard that they heard it too. It didn't mean anything to us, it probably meant something for them, and they ran away on the horses. And then the men told us that they were robbers. Not only robbers, but bandits. Okay.
Yeah.
How did he beg them, to let us go? I don't know. But nevertheless, they let us go.
Lucky.
They let us go. And then we came to the railway station, and the train didn't stop. So I had a lot of money, and so we paid the machinist not to stop the train for 5 minutes only, to let us in. But there wasn't enough room, because all men were going, to a station for the army. No, but at first they had to pick up their uniforms. Yes. Yes.
I know there were lots of
they had to, And our soldiers, who couldn't take their own families, or they couldn't get the friends, as I told you before, not for AGPA, they came and they helped us. So they went up, they talked to the men, to let us in. They let us
No, I remember it was different. They went and stood up, and the women were serving them because all the men were in the army. So, conductors and everything were women. And those women were pushing us out, and those men were pushing them out and pulling us in.
No,
And
no,
that's how we
That
got
was
in.
in a different railway station.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, no. And nevertheless, they were throwing us into the kettle train, where the men were traveling, just like a little bundle, and they were throwing us back, but then they went up, and they talked to them, they let us go. And we traveled with them, I don't know how far, but we came to a big city, and then we stopped here, and then we had to go to a special shower, and our clothes and everything was thrown into whatever.
Disinfection.
Yeah.
That was disinfection. That's right. And my mother lost everything except for dress.
Oh no.
They took everything. I mean, she didn't have much.
Yeah.
But she had pants and she had, sleeve, and bra probably,
Okay.
everything. And we traveled like that, for quite a while. I'm not going to tell you all because, we'll be staying here all night. And we came, in the meantime, my brother was joined the army, as I told you.
Yeah.
And he didn't know that my father was army too. They let him go. They didn't kill him. They let him go, and he joined the army. In the same it was Uzbekistan, same village. The friend of my father went to the post office once, for the letters, and he heard my brother's name.
Oh.
Then he was going watch. So he came to my father and he said, listen, there is somebody with a name like yours,
Yeah.
Stanley. And he said, that's my son. And my father started looking for my brother. And he found him a few tents further from him.
Oh wow.
Can you imagine?
And your brother thought he was dead?
He knew that my father died.
Okay.
Because we told him that
Yeah.
father is dead. And my father found his son a few
Wow.
nuns because they were under the tent.
Yeah.
A few tents. And then, we came and they took care of us, for 6 weeks. And then through Caspian Sea, the very last transport to Caspian Sea, we joined together with the army. We went to Persia, Iran. It was actually in Pahlavi. Pahlavi is a very big Iranian port. We stayed there for 6 months, and then from 6 weeks, 6 weeks, and then we went to Tehran. In Tehran there was probably 5 or 10,000 people. There were 4 or 5 camps, and they had to do something with those refugees. So they established 5 refugee camps, 2 in Africa, Kenya and Uganda, 1 in India, 1 in Mexico, and 1 in Lebanon. And we went to India, and we were staying in India for 5 years, and the rest of them, they went to other camps. That's not for today.
Very interesting though.
Very interesting.
You were not part of the ship?
No.